Our Seaside band. Thank you, guys. Get everybody awake? Ready to go? Hello, how are you? It's good to see you all this morning. Hello. We invite you to come on in and take your seats, please. We're going to be getting started with our service. I have some announcements for you, but before I begin, I want to just take a moment to honor our practitioner that will be holding the light for us today, Practitioner Bob Greer. Thank you, Bob. We have a wonderful, wonderful team of practitioners here at Seaside. We always have one that sits in the back corner that holds the high watch for us during service. So they're not just sitting back, they're doing nothing. They're holding the high watch. And we're always available for prayer for you. So please know that. Please know we're available for prayer after both services out the side doors here in front of the prayer chapel. Or if you prefer, you can go to the prayer request chest in the corner and put a written prayer in, and we'll pray for a few weeks out for you for that prayer. Also know that all the Seaside practitioners are available for private appointments as well, and all of our phone numbers are in the program, so please utilize us. It is our joy. It is our joy to pray with you. We have a few things coming up that I want to talk to you about. Today after service, we have a special Seaside Sage presentation of Releasing Weight the Happy Way. So Reverend Tillinson and the Seaside Sages will be doing a special workshop, and it's open to anybody from teens on up. So please, if you're interested in finding out how to lose weight the happy way, then go ahead and show up. They have a special guest speaker that's going to be talking about that. We have a Wednesday night revealing service with Reverend Sunshine Day. That's always here Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. And this year, I understand she's going through our basic text. So she has an outline that you can read along with each week and be part of that ongoing discussion. So I invite you to come and be part of that. Also, a couple save the dates for you. We have coming up the annual meeting on January 26th. It is once a year. We have our business meeting. It's our annual congregational meeting. Our new board is elected, and you get to hear about all that happened last year at Seaside, where we're standing financially and what we look like going into the new year. So we invite you to come be part of that. Cafe and Lake will be serving lunch after second service, so you can just stick around. Also coming up is a Seaside Sisters Women's Ministry event. It is going to be a wonderful visioning for the new year. They're stepping into the next expression and what that looks like. So we invite all you women to come on out and be part of that. That is on Friday, January 31st. They're going to be showing everything that they did last year and accomplished. And it's an amazing amount of things that our women's ministry did. So I invite you to come and see what's up there. The big thing going on this week at Seaside is education and classes. Our classes start this week. Dr. Christian's Foundation class starts Tuesday night this week, so I invite you to sign up. If you haven't taken any of our accredited classes, that's the one you want to start with, Dr. Christian's Foundation. It's a 10-week course, covers the basics of science of mind, our core principles, and it's a wonderful opportunity to come together in a smaller group to deepen your understanding of what we teach here at Science of Mind, and get to know Dr. Christian a little bit better, and he gets to know you a little bit better, and you kind of travel through your classes with that group that you come together with in Foundations. So it's a wonderful place to start. If you've already taken Foundations, then your next two classes that are being offered this quarter are Reverend Lori Sheets is teaching Spiritual Economics. It's one we don't always teach here, but it's been added to our ongoing curriculum. It is by the book, Eric Butterworth's book, Spiritual Economics. It's a wonderful book on prosperity and abundance in all areas of your life. So it's not just financially, it's in all areas, and it's just a fabulous course. Reverend Lori will be teaching that. Or Reverend Tammy is teaching Power of Your Word, which is the other course that you can take after Foundations that's being offered. So sign up for one of those three in the education table. I'll be back there after service. I'd love to see you. There's also enrichment classes that we'll be talking about as the quarter rolls on. And Sharon De Leon's Vision Board is going to be February 2nd. Fills up quick. It's a very popular workshop that she's done. I think this is the third year in a row. And we're asking if you have any magazines, if you could bring those and put them in the box by the door to help support everybody who's going to be creating their vision boards on that day. Oh, let us see what else is going on. Oh, I know. We're talking about real love. Real love is the theme this year at Seaside for 2014. We're experiencing, learning, and talking about real love. It'll be woven through many, many of our programs here this year. We're kicking it off with an event next Sunday, and I'm going to invite Bill and Cindy to come up and talk to you about it.
Good morning, everybody. The mission of Real Love is to teach the meaning of love, replacing anger and confusion with peace and confidence. That's the mission in individual lives and in relationships. You don't need to be in relationship. You don't need to be married. You don't need anything other than to show up and learn a transformational set of principles that are life-changing for you and for everybody around you. We have a short clip just to give you a taste.
It's transformed my life. I now know what joy really is and what I'm looking for.
As you see and hear these principles, you too can dramatically change the way you see yourself, the way you see other people, and the way you interact with them. If you continue in this process, you'll revolutionize the rest of your life.
I would have to say that Real Love has affected every part of my life. It's affected my life professionally. It's affected my marriage. It's affected my relationships with my friends in every single way.
I think the most exciting thing about the principles for me is that I'm walking through my days in a more peaceful way, just a lot happier.
I promise you that if you learn and apply these principles, you will experience the kind of rewards described by the people you've just heard.
It's so strong in its simplicity. The simpleness of it gives it its strength. And so it's not something that you have to spend time trying to understand and to get all the terminology correct. It's about learning very simple processes that make so much sense so quickly and so easily that it's just, aha.
I think the seminar.
So next Sunday, we're showing a film after second service. It was shown on PBS, so join us for our movie matinee after second service. This is also an invitation for us as a community to step out and be loving. And so we have posters here that are in the back that if you know a place that you could put a poster up to share this beyond our community, we would appreciate your help. At 12:45, we have a meeting for those who've signed up to be hosts for our book studies that'll take the book Real Love through 9 chapters, coordinating with Christians' talks. If you want to be a host, if that would be something you'd like to do and facilitate a book study group, it's a very simple thing. Why don't you see us at 12:45? And I think that does it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a fun, exciting program we're rolling out here. I have one last announcement. If you love to sing, it's time to join the choir. Reverend Fran is starting up again this Wednesday. Come on out and just meet and check them out. And you know, you don't have to commit to anything. Just come on over on Wednesday and see if the choir is a match for you. And they welcome just anybody, that can sing, kind of, I guess. You have to sing. I don't know. Okay, so with that sense of love and lightness and laughter, please just stand and greet your neighbor and remain standing for the congregational song.
Please remain standing for our congregational song. This morning we're singing, "The Spirit of God is upon you."
I invite you to go with me. All right. to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. Scripture told me that I had to be good. But now I love because I want to. I love because I'm free. Blinded by the Spirit. The Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, 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 I don't need any prodding, don't need any law. I want to sing with all my heart that God is my all in all. Let go of my burden. Loving God has made me free. Blinded by the Spirit. The Spirit of God is upon me.
Yes, it is.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. All right, Bob. The Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, 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 thought it was my duty, thought it was my job. Somewhere I believe that loving God would be hard.
No.
But loving
No.
God is a wonderful.
Yes.
Loving God is ecstasy.
Yes.
Thank God for my freedom. Let me tell you that the Spirit of the God is upon
Everybody,
me.
yes, it is.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me.
Reverend Fran, that sounded good. I like that. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Hey, what a joy it is to be with you on the beginning of this new year. We are cruising into a wonderful time, and the Spirit of God is upon us. How does that feel? Yeah, that was nice. And we know it's also upon the Chargers today. Hey, we got that. All sorts of jerseys at the first service. They want to go home and get good seats in front of their TV. I look forward to calling Dr. Roger Teal up the Mile High Church Religious Science tomorrow, extending my condolences. But hey, you're welcome here today. It's an exciting day, and so if you're here for the first time, welcome. It's a joy to open our heart and our arms to greet you. Know that Seaside is a welcoming community. Wherever you may be on your spiritual path, know that you are welcome here. It's a place without judgment. It's a place of love. It's a place of kindness. It's a place where we can come together and explore the Spirit's expression in our individual lives. And so to take us deeper into that place is a wonderful practitioner by the name of Patty Christensen.
I invite you to take a deep breath, sit back in your chair, and be in the stillness. And it is indeed with great joy that I feel and acknowledge the Spirit of God is upon this place. I know as we gather here today, Spirit is here with us. We brought it with us, we find it together, and we share it. It is such a joy to know there is one power, one holy divine energy that runs through everything, and that Seaside is a space that people gather by divine appointment as we've gathered here today. And I know each one here is an individualized expression of that Spirit, of that God, of that holiness, come here today, gathered by divine appointment to come and just be. And I know it's such a blessing that this day, each person who came gets what they need for their own journey. Each musician and singer, each song sang is such a blessing, and we take it all in. I know that Dr. Christian stands before us listening to Spirit and bringing Spirit's word in. It is right, it is perfect, it is exactly as we would need it now. And I know that we show up, we are fed, we celebrate. It is so good, it is so beautiful. Today is God's day. We come, we bless, everything is as it should be, and so it is. Amen.
The breath of God is breathing me, is resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. The power of God is powering me, is resting in the power of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. It's the power, it's the grace, it's the love, it's the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well.
Thank you so much, Reverend Fran, who is our artistic director, and Patty Christensen for taking us to a place that we all came here to know. For I know that we come to a spiritual community such as Seaside so that we can know God at a deeper level and from a deeper place. And if you are here for the first time, I am Lori Sheets, Reverend Lori Sheets, and I am the Seaside's Youth and Family Minister. So if you have a family that you would like to bring, we welcome them as well. There's information packets in the back at the welcome table that has information both about our teaching, which is Science of Mind, and Seaside, which is our spiritual community. So I welcome you to pick those up. My class starts Thursday. It's called Spiritual Economics. Doesn't it sound like it might have been named at Harvard? Spiritual Economics. I've renamed this class. It's Get Your Money Act Together this year. So if you have that on your list, please come. It's an excellent class. It is a proven class. I have taught it before. It's a lot of fun. There'll be prayer partners. If you have any questions, please see me. That'll be great. And now I'd like to read from Dr. Christian's daily book. So just get comfortable, if you will. Settle into your chairs. Please don't put your feet up on top of the chairs in front of you. I'll read this and then I'll go into prayer, so please join me. The topic is oneness. The master teacher reminded us of our oneness with the divine when he said, "When you see me, you see the Father, and the kingdom of heaven is within you. Your life is the life of the one whole infinite reality expressing as one in the same way that your hand is inseparable from your body. Your hand is a way that you express and interact with the world, just as you are the way that the one expresses and interacts in this world. Part of the human condition is this sense of separation. Our senses in our science give us lots of evidence that this is true, but it is not. The only thing you ever need to heal is your sense of separation from others, from yourself, and from the divine. This is your true nature and the source of all peace, power, and joy in your life. So simply allow your eyes to close and come fully present into this moment, knowing that it is truly the only moment, the only now. For it is from here that all things unfold. And so I claim and know that this God, this presence, is all-knowing, all-loving, all genuine, all real. I call this presence my beloved. And I know that I am one with my beloved. How could I not be? One with the joy and the harmony and the peace and the ease and the gentleness and the kindness. For that is who God is. And though I simply allow in this year, I allow the presence of God to work through me more fully, in a bigger way. And I am willing to let go of any thought or belief that would keep that from happening. And so the gratitude that I feel is the gratitude of knowing only oneness, knowing that I am living the life of God. So it is my joy and my job to simply express as I am guided. What a blessing. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Lori. All right, we have the pleasure of having Janice Edwards and Nathan Fry with us. And they surprised us and they said, please sing with us. So Carl and we're doing backup, so we have to take one step back. Okay. No, just get you right in the link. No, just teasing. We're teasing today.
stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove.
Oh, there's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around, yeah. Oh no, we got such a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know.
But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting ourselves together. We're polishing up our act, yeah. And if you ever been held down before, I know that you refuse to be held down anymore, yeah. Don't you let nothing stand in your way.
I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move, yeah.
Moving, moving.
Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove.
We got it, we got it.
Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Oh yeah, we're on the move, yeah. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove.
Oh, yeah, now. I know you know someone who has a negative vibe. When you're trying to make it, they'd always push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. When you ask them where they're going, they don't know.
But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're getting ourselves together. We're polishing up our act, yeah. If you have been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore, yeah. Don't you let nothing stand in your way.
I want y'all to listen
to
every word I say, every word I say.
Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We're on the move. We're on the move. Yeah. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Don't you let nothing
stand in your way.
I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move. Yeah.
We got it, yeah.
Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove.
Grooving, grooving, yeah, yeah.
Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Oh, we're on the move.
We're on the move.
Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now.
Hey, that is Nathan. That is Janice. Fran and Carl, no stopping us now. What a great way to start this year, guys. No stopping us. No stopping Seaside. No stopping you. We're on that track. We are moving now. How fabulous that is. That's great. I just feel good. It's like, what a way to get stands. Hey, we got to get Nathan out from behind that piano a little bit more, get wiggling in that body for us to watch. That was exciting. Woo! Hey, so what we like to do here at Seaside, which they do in centers for spiritual living across the country and across the globe, is go back to the basics. So when you're moving and you're grooving, there's nothing stopping you and the concerns start creeping up. How long can this last and whatever? Go back to the basics. Your sports teams, what do they do every year? They go back to the basics. And so at the beginning of The Science of Mind, which has become our textbook, Ernest Holmes wrote a book in the 1920s called The Science of Mind. He put some initial chapters together. And the first chapter is called The Thing Itself. It's just basically God. And what he wrote about this textbook is that it's not a revelation to him. It's not like, boom, the veil's parted and he was given the great tablets and wow, here you go, guys. But rather, what it is a compilation. It is an accumulation of that common thread of truth that has run itself through the great philosophies and the great religions from the beginning of time. And what he has done is he has given us a key that will open ourself to our higher self and given us the freedom to do that. And what has happened oftentimes, not oftentimes, but what used to be said about centers for spiritual living or religious science or science of mind, which is what the teaching of religious science is in the early days, is that it was an occult. But I just want to give you a heads up about an occult. A cult is something that you give your power away to. An occult is where you give your power away to a person, to a preacher, to a teacher, to a guru, to a church, to an institute, to something that is outside and said, they are the power. And what this philosophy does says that you are the power. There is one life, that is the life of God, that is your life, and that is what is moving through you now. And with that, you can create the dynamics of your world. But what is important to Ernest is that you know that you are free to choose. And so from the very first page in his book, The Science of Mind, on that page, he uses the word freedom 6 different times. That's how important it is. It's not about giving your power away to rules, regulations, dogmas, creeds, but rather that you are free to discover the power that you are. So I want to read to you, since it is the beginning of the basics. And I mean, what a great way. You go back to that life force. You know, it's not God, this anthropomorphic something in the sky sitting there with a book doing judgment, but rather it's a life force. It is a love. It is a power. It is a first... let me tell you what he said. All right. Individuality must be spontaneous. It can't be automatic. For the seed of perfection must be planted in the innermost being. And just like the prodigal kid, we must make the great discovery for ourselves. For the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. All intuitively feel this, don't you? 3 of you, good. Hey, that's a start. But the truth points to freedom under a law. Thus, our inherent nature is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. We do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life that is wonderful in its scope, of a love that is beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which our soul craves. Don't you crave to be able to go out and live your life at the level at which you choose? And so when it doesn't happen, a little frustration kicks in. You know what's that? And that frustration is really just self-inflicted, unsupervised abuse. You know, you get out that metaphysical hammer and you inflict this self-attack that is unsupervised. It's a fest where you go upon yourself and all of a sudden you start beating yourself up. How could I have done that? How could I have thought that? And you go and I say, wait, whoa, stop. Just stop a second. You know, stop, take a breath, breathe in. You know, like how good it is when I stop talking? It's like, whoo, I can breathe. You know, slow down. Okay, slow down that frustration. Breathe in and allow your awareness to expand. And realize that I'm dealing with that which is infinite. It's not dialed into my frustration saying, hey, this is the only way. There is something greater. You want to go to that place through your breathing, through your listening, through that calm place that has never been violated, as Ernest Holmes talks about. Now, I also realize you can't stay in that Om nirvanic state forever. Oh, man, how great that is. I like. No, we function in this world. You've got to get down off your meditation pillow. You know, the eagle's got to flap its wings if it wants to soar. If you want milk, you can't put a stool in the middle of the pasture and wait for a cow to back up onto your lap. You know, I get that you've got to take action in your life, but if you're coming from a place of frustration, that's what you're seeing, then all of a sudden you become consumed with, I need to get through this. And that consumption is where you're taking this infinite power and focusing into that place of resistance. Edgar Tolle, you know, one of the good teachers of our era. He asks, is your goal taking all your attention that has reduced the present moment to a means to an end? Is it taking the joy from your living? Are you waiting to live? Is your goal or your frustration or your vision just consumed so much of your attention that the present moment has been reduced to a means to an end, that someday I'm going to get there? See, the thing itself, that presence, that divine presence is flowing through the present moment. And what we have got to be willing to do is move beyond the sense of there's a challenge here. Resistance is not a bad thing, but what happens when we get to that place of resistance and the challenge in our world, it can instill the pain. It creates a sense of separation. You've got to be willing to let go resisting the situation that is before you. Let go of resisting resistance and recognize that the resistance to what lies before you only brings down the veil or the curtain that keeps you from having a greater awareness from that infinite perspective of what you are capable of doing in your life. Cool, too. I like it. I just think of Byron Katie, who talks about suffering from the things that have happened is nothing more than being in argument with your past. Okay? The things that have happened, why suffer from that? It's just an argument with your past. That's that metaphysical hammer I was talking about. It's getting into that place of beating yourself up. Why don't you just knock that off and come back to this present moment where there's an infinite possibilities? We're talking about that which is omnipresent, omniscient. That means all-knowing. It is everywhere. It's right where I am, but it's in this moment. It's not back then. It was, but it is here now. It's not out there. It will be, but it is here right now. One of the great philosophers, Winnie the Pooh, just like the line where he said, hey, what day is it? And the little piglet squealed, well, it's today. And Winnie says, that's my favorite day. Oh, isn't that sweet? But it is today, this moment is where it's going on. Nothing can stop us if I'm in this day. If you're trying to bring the baggage from yesterday, that doesn't work. But if you're in today and knowing that nothing can stop us, you're making a difference in the world. We're supporting Motown. Detroit, they're coming back because of the consciousness that we got going on here today. So, yep. But you want to be present, because in that present moment, and that's where the thing itself, that life force expresses, when you become present, it squeezes out the anxiety, it squeezes out the resistance, it squeezes out the boredom, it squeezes out the concerns, because you're in a place of action and expression. You become that vortex through which it is moving, and all of a sudden you step into the place that all the great spiritual teachings have talked about. The spiritual teachers have talked about. Quantum physics talks about your high-end peak CEO coaches talk about that the show that's going on right now is where it's happening. This is where it's going on. Now is the moment. Now is the appointed time to bring forth the expression of spirit into your life in the manner that your heart is resonating to, that your heart is feeling and desiring to be. Ernest Holmes, he writes on the next page, so it's probably the next most important thing that he had to say, is that the study of the science of mind is the study of first cause, of spirit, of mind, of the invisible essence, of the ultimate stuff, the intelligence from which it all comes, the power back of all is the thing itself. See, that's what this philosophy is about. It's about first cause. It's not about rehashing what was, or Byron Katie's argument with the past. It is about first cause, setting in motion your intention, that vision that you have gotten from that moment of pause and catching a higher vision of what is possible in your life, having that expanded awareness and beginning to plant that seed. It all begins with the word, with your first cause, with your first thought, with that which you have set forth. See, we're at the beginning of the year. What are you planting for your life this year? That's what's going to unfold, because what was, that chapter's closed. And today is the birth of something new. Well, but all this was going... No, today, you don't have to figure out how it's going to shift in your world. Life knows how to move forward. Dan Millman, one of the fun writers of our time, in The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, is probably from Socrates, his teacher's line. He says, quit trying to figure it all out. You don't have to understand the ocean to swim in it. Hello, that's right. Stop trying to figure out how it's going to work out, how this is going to happen. Stop fixating, giving the power of this moment away to the means to the end, but become fully present and become available to that expression of spirit, and it's divine in your life because it will come through if you're calling it forth and opening your awareness to it. Alan Cohen, one of the guys who comes swinging through here occasionally, shared a fun story about a group that he took over to Egypt. This guy, we like to take people on these tours and things, and he took them over to Egypt. And he shared how one of the women in his group, Gloria, found this little, very intriguing-looking stone, and she got very excited. It was this round pink stone she held up to the light, and it kind of glistened and caught the light, and she just started to think, what high priest or priestess may have used it in ceremony, or maybe it even sat in the crown of the stone in one of the crowns. And so she took this intriguing little round pink stone, and she put it in her hands. She found a spot where she could go meditate. She went off private place, and she put it in her hands, and she started to psychically connect. Stone, take me to that time, to the magical sacred ceremonies in which that were going on in this sacred place, this great pyramid. Let me see. And she could feel that stone starting to loosen up and starting to become softer. And it began to expand her possibilities of the alchemy of this stone. Maybe it's a shapeshifter. Maybe the transformation that's taking place is going to happen right now, and became softer. And so she couldn't help it. She opened her eyes and she looked, and she noticed these pink strings of goo, and it was a piece of bubble gum. But she had a great experience from it, which just goes to emphasize, it doesn't matter where you put your focus, it is still spirit. You can get the divine hits from a piece of old bubble gum if you do. Okay, well, we'll drop that analogy. But, you can get it from walking down the street, looking at something you never thought was a spiritual experience. It is the focality of your awareness that brings forth the presence into your life. It is not so much what is going on. It is the intention. It is the interpretation, not your actions, but that which you bring to the party, not showing up, but what is your intention? What is your interpretation? What is it that you're bringing to this game that makes the difference in your life and those that are around you? Spirit is moving through you. It's done unto you as you believe. Your thinking makes it so, is what Shakespeare said. The analogies and the quotes go on and on and on. And so my assignment for you this week, you probably got a lot of them, but I'm giving you this particular one. If you've been listening to me, I'm sure you got lots of ideas to think about. But I want to point out this one for you, is that I want you this week to focus in on some areas that would not traditionally be a spiritual kind of moment for you, and expand your awareness to see the Spirit there. Bring your invitation for the awareness of the divine in those moments. It can be a piece of gum. It could be a beautiful flower, and it could be where the frustration is. It could be an individual in your life who's just stirring your gut. It could be a dynamic that isn't unfolding like you thought it should, and you begin to bring the awareness, the presence there, and absolutely trust and know that the divine knows what it needs to do in that moment, in that place. Because what I've come to recognize more and more when I hear stories like this is, we do not need to deny another's reality to affirm ours. That's right. We do not need to deny another's path to affirm the one that you are on is correct. We do not need to make another wrong, which is why we support the different philosophies or the spiritual beliefs that are working for people. We don't say, hey, this is the only way. It is about a matter of freedom and finding that which is turning your soul on, that is allowing you to bring forth the gifts that you came to this world to bring. We're starting off in this new year, and there is just a power. We're moving in the right direction, and it's up to us to continue to know that you have got everything that you need to bring forth that which is stirring in your heart, in your vision, in your soul purpose. Amen. Ernest Holmes, he wrote some other good stuff in this chapter. It's still the first one. Come back next week. I'll get into the second one maybe. But anyway, he said, behind the individual is the universal. I'm going to maybe need glasses in a year. I'm not buying into that story. I'm having a higher... Keep those to yourself, Rand. Okay, I have refocused. Behind the individual is the universal, which has no limits. Good news. In this concept alone lies the possibility of eternal and endless expression. Everyone is universal on the subjective side of life. On that deeper side, you are universal, you're infinite. On that deeper side of life. And the individual only at the point of the conscious perception. Okay? You are unlimited, but where you have a perception, that is where you become individualized. So the riddle is solved. And as we all use this creative power of the universal mind, every time we use our mind. So in other words, what he's saying, if I didn't butcher it up too bad, is that you're universal, you're infinite, you're the thing itself. You are that on that subjective side, on that side where you're connected, and it is your perception that brings it into form. It is your perception that creates individuality. It is your perception that particularizes that infinite. You are dealing with the infinite, but what good is it if it's not taking form? And so you become that place in which the thing itself, which is just a different name for the infinite or life or the presence or love or rhythm or order or whatever we want to call it, it is your perception that individualizes that which of itself is infinite. Ernest Holmes talks about all change takes place within the changeless. It is all right there, which is why I think it is imperative that we begin to trust more in this power that you are, that I am, that we are, and begin to speak in a bold kind of way with a proclamation, declaration, affirmation of a greater truth and not go small. I watch too many people limiting God. Are you putting a limit on your God? Say, God, would you do this? If it's not an inconvenience, if you can get around to it, I know it's a lot to be asking. You know what? Most people aren't asking a lot. They're asking to get their bills paid. I'll tell you what, God, I want my house paid off, please. Let's not go small. Let's go bold, because it's all spirit, and you are the one through your perception that particularizes that which is infinite. How many people are just saying, well, I trust we're going to be able to make it in the world? No, I was born for greatness. Go bold with your prayers and your declarations. Stop putting a limit on that which is truly infinite. All things are possible. Even the Chargers could win the Super Bowl, I think. After they win today, I'll wear the Chargers colors next week in the bolo tie. Oh, gosh, where was I going with all this? There's so much in there. You should just see it. So, I was talking about that, and it's spirit. It's truly the blessing of the divine that moves within our life, and it's the manner in which we choose to be the avenue for it to express. There are so many ways it can show up in our world that is beyond what we logically could have figured out. That's the intuition. The intuition brings the image. It brings the picture that is beyond the logical, sequential, linear unfoldment of how something could happen. It's like, wow, I get this hit. This is what's possible. Now use me to bring that about. And that's how healing happens. That's how transformation happens beyond, we talk a lot about healing the body and healing, the spirit or relationships, and all those things are beautiful. But when you're in alignment with the thing itself and know that you're a power and you're willing to go bold, you can heal all things. I mean, Jesus, I love the story. Talk about going bold. There were a couple guys that were blind, and they heard Jesus was in town. They could hear all this commotion. And they say, hey, Jesus, Jesus. And the guys next to them say, shh, shh, shh. I don't want to disturb him, which made them just speak up even louder. Hey, we're blind. Come help us. And so so the story goes anyway. I wasn't there. But he went over and he said, what's wrong? It's like, duh, can't you tell these guys are blind? It's like, what do you want? That's right. What do you want? Maybe all they wanted, they weren't going bold and big. Maybe all they wanted was some food that day. Maybe all they wanted was a place to stay, a roof over their head, to make sure they had a good guide to lead them through this world. But no, luckily, to make the story better, they said, hey, we want our eyes open. And boom. And their eyes were open and they could see. But that's the thing. You have to be willing to speak boldly what it is that you want to bring into your experience in life. Because it is infinite, but you are the one through your perception that particularizes that which is infinite. He said to the person who was sick in bed and hadn't walked, was lame, He said, pick up your bed and walk. He didn't say, what ails you? What were your past thoughts? What did the doctor say? What is your prognosis? Let me see your x-rays. He just simply said, pick up your bed and walk. That's what we have got to do, is pick up our bed and stop giving excuses with the frustration, with the resistance, and know that there's a thing itself, there's a power that is seeking to express itself as our very life. And we work on body, and we work on soul, we work on relationships. But I'll tell you what, it shows up everywhere because it is omnipresent. It's in ways when you become that clear transparency for that life to show up, it will touch your heart and soul beyond the physical things. I saw this little clip on TV a little while back, and then somebody sent it to me this week, and it touched me when I originally saw it. It touched me again. You've probably seen it, but you know, it's a couple minutes. Marv, would you run this clip? It's kind of pertinent since it's football
we end
playoff
tonight
season.
with the football play of the month. It was executed with amazing precision by the Eagles, the Olivet Eagles. Steve Hartman has the play and the post-game analysis on the road.
Between classes, they schemed and conspired. For weeks, the football players here at Olivet Middle School in Olivet, Michigan, secretly planned their remarkable play.
Did anybody go, this is a crazy idea?
No, everyone was in on it.
But like the coaches didn't know anything about it. So we were like going behind their back.
I've just never heard of a team coming up with a plan to not score.
It's just like to make someone's day, make someone's week, just make them happy.
The play, which was 2 plays actually, happened at a home game earlier this month. The first part of their plan was to try to get as close to the goal line as possible without scoring, even if it meant taking a dive on the 1-yard line, which it did. The crowd was not happy. Quarterback Parker Smith.
But us kids knew, hey, we got this. This is our time. This is Keith's time.
Keith Orr is the little kid in the brown jacket. He's learning disabled, struggles with boundaries, but in the sweetest possible way. Because of his special nature, it's no surprise that Keith embraces his fellow football players.
Hug, Gabe.
What is surprising is how they have embraced him.
Hello.
We thought it'd be cool to do something for him.
Because we really wanted to prove that he was part of our team and he meant a lot to us. Nothing can really explain getting a touchdown when you've never had one before.
Which brings us to part 2 of their play. If you didn't see Keith, it's because they were so protective of him. But he was in the middle of that rush.
And when you crossed the goal line, what was that like?
Awesome.
It was like, did he just score a touchdown?
Get your camera out.
I'm like, oh, I can't.
Keith's parents, Carrie and Jim, almost missed the moment, but they got the significance.
Somebody's always going to have his back from now until the day he graduates.
She's right. When the football team decides you're cool, pretty much everyone follows suit. Today, Keith is a new kid, although by no means was he the only one who was profoundly changed.
What was it like for you?
It was like once I saw him go in, I was smiling about here.
Wide receiver Justice Miller.
Like nothing could wipe that smile off my face.
Why did it affect you so much?
Because he's never been cool or popular, and he went from being pretty much a nobody to making everyone's day.
Justice admits the play wasn't his idea.
I would have not really thought about that.
He says it never crossed his mind to give Keith any glory.
Well, I kind of went from being somebody mostly cared about myself and my friends to caring about everyone and trying to make everyone's day and everyone's life.
Which may just make that touchdown the most successful football play of all time. Steve Hartman on the road in Olivet, Michigan.
I just want us to understand the thing itself is more than just making the physical things happen. It's love expressed that makes the physical more wonderful. It's not having to figure out, it's trusting. Rainier Marie Reiki, wonderful mystic writer, said, being artist means not having to figure it out or to count, but ripening. In our spiritual path, it's about ripening. It's about being patient as it unfolds and takes place in our world. The Course in Miracles says infinite patience brings immediate results. Impatience is just anger. Let us turn over our new year to the thing itself, to trust that there's a love that makes all things new, that brings something greater into our life than we could ever have imagined. And it doesn't matter where it is you are. You can bring your focality to that present moment. Invite that expanded awareness of the divine. Whether you're looking at gum, whether you're looking at a disability, or whether you're looking love in the face, know that the omnipresence of Spirit, the thing itself, is with you. God bless you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Janice and Nathan back to the stage for a little song about love.
This is a crazy world. These are some lonely times. It's hard to know who's on your side most of the time.
Who can you really trust? Who do you really know? Is there anybody out there who can make you feel less alone? Sometimes you just can't make it on your own.
If you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll always be your friend.
When you need a shelter from the rain, when you need a healer for your pain, I will be there time and time again. When you need someone to love you, here I am.
If you have broken dreams, just lay them all on me. I'll be the one who understands. So take my hand.
If there is emptiness, you know I'll do my best to fill you up with all the love that I can show someone. I promise you, you'll never walk alone.
If you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll always be your friend.
When you need a shelter from the rain, when you need a healer for the pain, I will be there time and time again. Yeah.
When you need someone to love you, here I am.
Everybody needs somebody who they can pour their heart and soul into.
If you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll always be your friend.
When you need a shelter from the rain, need a healer for the pain, I will be there time and time again.
When you need someone to love you,
when you need someone to love you,
oh, when you need someone to love you, hey, here I am.
That's Janice and Nathan. Opening our hearts ever wider, that's for sure. What a song for Seaside. If you ever need a shoulder, here we are, that's for sure. You know, spirituality in our individual path can be a lonely path, but the spiritual work oftentimes is an inward, lonely place. But you can't do community alone. And so it's imperative, not imperative, but very valuable to know that you have a spiritual community of people of like minds who care, who love, who practice kindness, who have a shoulder to cry on, a place to share your triumphs, your sorrows. We're here for one another. We've been here for each other for a quarter of a century because people like us have sat here and supported this wonderful community. And this is the time of our service every week for those last 25 years that we have paused and said, hey guys, this is the time that we get to share our financial support. We get to share a financial gift because we're operating in this physical world that requires us to operate in that financial realm. But know that your gift is something that comes from the heart. It is received with a sense of love. And know that as you give, it comes back to you, multiplied. It's not why you give, but that is how it works. It is an extension of your consciousness. It is the activity that Spirit is having in your life. Is Spirit moving through with an ease and a grace and an abundance, or is it with a constraint and a fear? You are the one who brings the perception to that infinite which moves in your life in this moment. And so as you give, it comes back. And so this is the time we pause as a community and say, hey guys, let's support Spirit's work that shows up in our life as Seaside in this moment, because this is the moment we are. So with that, I'd like to invite the ushers forward and say thank you to this very august body. And know that they're always looking for individuals to be greeting on Sunday morning. You know, you can talk with Keith Russell about that, or any one of these, or Jackie. It's a great place to be, is to open your arms and say, welcome to Seaside as people are coming in. But this is the moment in which I pause and share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that the abundance flows right here, right now, that each and every one of us becomes that vortex of that infinite that expresses into form as our very life. Recognizing the fullness of the Spirit that is moving within our experience here and now, we find that stirring and that blessing that has blessed our life, and we send it forth knowing it brings blessings to Seaside, that it continues to move out into the world, bringing blessings with all it comes in contact, for we are part of a very generous, expanding, giving kind of community. For that love of Spirit has found this place through which it flows, enriching all those with whom it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for this opportunity to pause and to remember the source and find the peace and security, remembering that infinite is just within. And so it is. Amen. And together let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. As we stand with this musical moment, this exclamation of this wonderful flow of life, this abundant expression of good, truly I stand before the wellspring of that emerging affluence, that abundant expression of life that is moving through every member of our community. For everyone here today is that wonderful, clear channel through which that abundance moves, and I know that this collective good is received in love, it is taken care of in good stewardship, and it's sent forth back into life, bringing blessings to all those it comes in contact. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this moment to recognize and to realize that the abundance is ever flowing as our very life experience. And so it is. Amen. All right. And this is Robin Mitchell, who's been on the board for 4 years, going off in a couple weeks. Hey, actually been on the board 2 go-rounds. So, hey guys, fabulous as always, the Seaside Band. Janice and Nathan, you guys are fabulous. You can't be here enough for mine. Way to get us going. I love you, love you, love you, love you. Reverend Fran, bless you for your orchestration of our artistic expression at Seaside. Go Chargers! Sure, woo! Reverend Laurie, always a joy to get you off the hill from the little kids to us big kids. Appreciate that. And giving us sound today is Ed. Thank you very much. Marv, giving us the visual. Nice job. Know that there's CDs available right after the service, or if you really want to watch it for free, you can watch the live streaming that Cliff is doing. Thanks, Cliff. And know that it is archived. We have 410, or today makes 411 weeks of archived Sunday mornings here. So what is going on here is making a difference in the world. We get letters from all over our nation as well as the planet. From Saudi Arabia, we've received them. It is making a difference. So thank you for creating that. Hey, a lot of good's going on at Seaside. Like today after the service, the sages are getting together to talk about, I don't know, losing weight or something like that. And classes are starting this week. I'd love to see you on Tuesday nights where I go over the 10 core concepts, the foundational ideas. Then you can go into Reverend Laurie's class or Reverend Tammy. Oh, and by the way, Reverend Tammy's now a grandmother. The baby came in, Ariel, 6 pounds, 4 ounces, healthy, and so is the mom, Vanessa. And also, but big news next week is there's a free movie here. You've been hearing us talk about real love, and love is really going to be the culture and just the energy that moves through Seaside always, but particularly this year. If you're wondering what this real love stuff is, I've been talking to, you hear Bill and Cindy talking about. Next Sunday, there's a free matinee here where Greg Bear, his PBS thing that we're going to show. It's free, so tell everybody to be here. You'll find out more about it. But, Abigail, did you raise your hand? Okay, come on up and share that with me. Do you know Callie, my wife, has a dress just like that? No. Well, now you do.
Bye.
See ya. Anybody have a fuller expression? I do. No. Okay, come on. What's happening?
You look like God.
Why? You want to say that louder? Okay, Spirit's about to speak. I love it. Hey, healing's the thrust of this movement since its conception. Words are nice, principles are nice, but it is the manifestation that we take the authority, that it's where it's happening. All the ideas are no good unless they're showing up in our life in relevant ways. And so a whole morning moves to this moment of just resonating in that divine field of wholeness. I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners to stand as we all lift ourselves in consciousness to feel this divine frequency, this wonderful vibration of life itself, that all animating energy, that first cause, that spirit, that mind, that soul, that very word of the Spirit, the thing itself, the power behind all is what moves right here in this moment. I can feel it, I sense it, and I speak from this place of connection, knowing that it is all things and that I am that. I am Spirit expressing in this moment the revelation that is beyond the linear logical unfoldment, but with a jubilation of the truth of being, and I live in a trust of this new cause that continuously is set forth in my life. For today, if anyone is experiencing anything that is out of balance with the wholeness or that divine flow, any difficulty or earthly concern or challenge or pain or you name it, whatever that constriction is, from living in this world that brings the frustration, that brings that anger or that impatience, let us know that truly this is a moment where we release that resistance and know that I am no longer resisting that which is before me, but I step back in this breath where I pause, I breathe, and I expand the awareness, recognizing the omnipresent expression of Spirit is right here in this moment. And whatever has been the earthly concern and the challenge of the physical fact of this world gives way to that infinite which is just on the other side of this subjective field. I become that vortex or that conduit through which the infinite passes into form in ways that are relevant and real. So no longer trying to direct this infinite and what it is I want, I become that transparency through which it brings a greater love, a greater upliftment, a greater expression beyond my imagination and thinking. For I know that which created all things is the divine intelligence that continually casts the new word and the first cause and the greater expression as my life. No longer arguing with the past, but being present, for this is the day, this is the moment where the fullness of the divine has its way as each and every one of us. And with that, the crooked ways are made straight. The challenges are brought to a place of ease. There is a way of walking in this world with a fulfillment and a success and a feeling good and living in joy, for that is what this world is intended to be, a reflection of that infinite passing into greater form in this moment. So I live in love. I live in joy. I live in trust. I live in that divine frequency of well-being, and I let go of anything unlike itself. It falls away naturally as I continue to reside in that divine field, knowing every prayer request brought forth to this ministry is already so in the mind of God, unfolding itself. That each of us has been touched in ways that are real and right. I let go. I trust. I'm filled with gratitude, not to anyone or anything, for there is nothing outside of me. I'm just living in the state of grace and appreciation for the good that I am, that life is, and all that is around me. Knowing that Seaside continues to grow and thrive because the members here continue to move to a greater realization, connectedness with the infinite, personified. I let go, knowing it is so. I trust, I believe with an unshakable conviction. So it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I did not know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged and trying to make it through just one more day, you gotta let it go. Let it all go. And this is what we have to say. Come on! I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know that I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. By faith I see the light. Free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Now, Seaside, y'all take some. There's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here. For God.
All right. Hey, our affirmation for the week is Spirit guides my life. Together. Spirit guides my life. Touch your heart and say that again. Spirit guides my life. One more time like you mean it. Spirit guides my life. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I live in my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Amen, amen, hallelujah. Thank you.